All right, West Coast Swing dancers, in this video, you and I are going to talk about how to actually dance West Coast Swing. So this is a question that comes up. Probably you've had this problem. I've had this problem where I'm moving through my patterns and I don't feel like I'm dancing them, right? We're going to talk about this from leaders and followers' perspective. I don't feel like I'm dancing, right? I don't feel like I'm actually dancing the moves as I'm doing them, right? So I'm going to give you two different concepts and a way to think about it. So first, we have to talk, and Megan actually just said to us off camera, we should make a video on how to move foot to foot, right? So how do I move from one foot to the other while actually feeling and looking, more importantly, looking like I'm dancing? So if I'm moving from this foot to this foot, there's two theories of movement. I'm going to do this talking to you because it's just super awkward. I can either think of the theory of moving foot to foot as coming from the base, where my foot is first, I connect to the floor and I feel like my bottom moves first and my top gets there second. If I exaggerate this, right, it's my base moves first and the rest of me catches up, right? That's one theory, that it's driven underneath and that I catch up. The other theory is what we call the hanging skeleton. If you remember the skeleton as a kid hanging in your science class, if you took that off the little stand and you pulled the skeleton's head this way, the rest of the skeleton would line up underneath it. So in the hanging skeleton theory, it's my top that moves first and my bottom catches up, right? My top moves first and my bottom catches up. Now, generally speaking, when I teach people in the beginning to learn to dance, I like the idea of the foot and the base driving it because you're lower through here and more stable. So if I'm moving forward, I think about the weight moving through here, right? Or moving through here. So the base is moving first. As we get more advanced, it's more of the top moving first, right? Here's what we need to be careful of. We don't want to look stupid on the dance floor. None of us want to look stupid. It's probably one of our biggest fears is to look dumb. So what I want to do is understand my body blocks of weight, right? I have my leg weight, my hip weight, my rib cage weight, and my head. So from my foot through my hips, through my rib cage to my head, you can see I've got good posture here. Now when I transfer that to the other side, I want to be able to transfer it upright, right? So you can stand in front of the mirror to make sure everything's transferring upright first. Now I can separate these. We talked about the hips being separated, so just kind of move your hips first, right? Can I move my hips first to get there? Then can I move my rib cage first? Now as you do this, again, think about these blocks as separate. My hip weight is separate from my rib cage weight. So I can move my hip weight over a foot, right? Move my hip weight over a foot and everything catches up. Or I move my rib cage over a foot and everything catches up. And that subtle difference will look like dancing. So I have to isolate those. Can I move from my left foot to my right foot with my hips first? Can I move from my right foot to my left foot with my hips first? Can I move there with my rib cage first, right? Rib cage first, and then the hips catch up, rib cage first. So you notice there's got to be a separation of my hips counterbalancing my rib cage. I'm going to exaggerate this for you. My rib cage and my hips working in opposite directions, so my hanging skeleton can move this way. Same thing this way. My rib cage is moving in opposition, so my head weight's moving first. Here's the key. Rarely do I want this to come off axis. Meaning, I don't want to start to look like this, right? I don't want to move this way. So I always want this to stay upright, my head, as I move, let's say, hips first and catch up, or if I move rib cage first and catch up. So those are the two basic theories. Now, how do we put these in practice? Think of West Coast Swing in 2-beat increments, right? I'll start with the followers first, right? So if I'm thinking 1, 2, I'm over the left foot on 2. So I can start to dance my hanging skeleton over the second step, right? 1, 2. Now, 2-beat increment, 3 and 4. This is where I'm going to land. So I can start to think of that if I'm thinking hanging skeleton. 1, 2, my right side, 3 and 4 is going over first. As I land on that foot, my body adjusts 5 and 6. So I'm thinking about where I'm going to land on those 2-beat increments, 2-beat increments. If I do that from the behind, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now if I want to go back the other side, I'm starting to go over 5 and 6 and everything lines up back to 1, right? So that's the theory of the top moving first, if I do the followers again. Now if I think footwork first, 1, 2, 3, and now I'm using my feet and my footwork is sending me, right? My base is bigger than my top. So that's where you might get hips, footwork type of stuff, where my base is moving first, right? And everything's catching up with it. So at the end of those 2-beat increments, I want things stacked up. I don't want to get to a position where I go 2 and I'm just stuck here, 3 and 4. That would be silly, right? So I go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe I get over it, but now I have a moment where I'm lined up, and then I swing it to the other side, and I line up before I move again. So at the end of those 2-beat increments, you want to be upright. If I do this from the leader's perspective, let's say a right side pass, 1, 2, I'm forward over that. So I can almost start to exaggerate that 2. Now I'm going to be over here on 3 and 4, so I can start to let my body go there and let my hips catch up. Same thing, let my body go to where I'm going to finish and let my hips catch up before I go into the next move. Does that make sense? If I do it again, let's go this side, right side pass, right? 1, I'm thinking my upper body goes first. 3, and my upper body goes first, but I catch up. Now I want to go upper body first again. I start to separate hips and ribs just a little bit till I land on that foot, catch up. I want to track my feet underneath me so I don't wreck my posture. If I did the same thing from the leader's perspective, thinking footwork first, right? So footwork has a bigger base and a smaller top. Hanging skeleton has a bigger top and a smaller base. So if I do more footwork style for the leaders, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right now I'm thinking base first, I catch up, 5 and 6, base first, and I catch up, and then I'm off to the races. Cool. If you guys want more cool styling stuff like that, we have a website. You've probably heard of it. It's called westcoastswingonline.com. Not only do we have patterns over there, but we have sections on musicality, styling, spins and turns. So if you have questions like this, we have videos with these very specific answers. You can sort them. You can write to us in the comments section. It has its own private comment section. So coolest things in sliced bread. You can try it 14 days free here. If you want to download our video on our favorite footwork drill, you can do that down here. See you on a dance floor soon.